gods and goddesses, welcome to your Pathology reading. I have to adjust my camera. I am Princess India. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're family, welcome back, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in for you guys. I just have a few messages for you all that I wrote down in the trusty dusty notebook for the month of July. The first is very specific. It said, all of you who fall under, this wonderful number 3 here, life path number and all that good stuff. You guys are spending too much time and energy on what's been created in 3D and not enough time on identifying the source energy from which you created it. And the two source energies from which we create are love or fear, or the tools you use to create what we experience in our reality, which are thought, word, and action. It was something else. Within every cycle, there's 3 stages designed to reprogram us or allow us to recreate ourselves. And at the beginning of a cycle, it's the knowing stage, which is understanding something conceptually. Then we go into the experience stage, which is the physical experience. And we experience physically what we know to be true. And that's rooted in like twofold, like love and fear. And it's based on your belief about life, which is if you believe life is happening to you or you believe life is happening for you, that's what you're going to end up experiencing in your physical reality. When the cycle wraps up, you can end up in one or two places depending on if you learn the lesson or the experience, or learn the lesson through the experience. And the 2 places that you would end at the end of a cycle is either beingness, which is remembering a truth of yourself that you once forgot, or it will be doingness, which is reinforcing a lie that we believe about ourselves or about life. Another important thing to note is as soon as you believe, as long as you believe that someone else is in control of what it is that you are experiencing, you will continue to be helpless to change it. And lastly, the theme of this month is you guys attuning with the frequency of the number 3, which and is the soul essence of the number 3. Your insight is expanding beyond the limitations of the mind in the 2D world. And another thing that's important to note is that emotions are magnets. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you're feeling, you're more likely to continue to experience. Now, that is the general messages. The rest of that, it got so deep, y'all, I can't even begin to tell you. But we're going to go into the rest of that in more or less a practical, applicable sense in the extended, right? But the most important thing about this month is you guys being in an energy where you're ascending to a higher perspective. And I call it the director's chair of life. So it's seeing things from more of an observation state, slowing things down within yourself to be able to properly respond to things, because it's almost as if you guys have been experiencing life as like in the passenger seat, or like a passenger in your life is how I'm trying to say it. Like as if you have no hand in what it is that you're experiencing. So I guess the most tangible or practical way I could say that would be like if a person ever feels like, God hates me. You know what I'm saying? Like bad stuff just keeps happening in my life because God hates me. It's kind of like a perspective like that, but it's getting opportunities this month and epiphanies this month that are going to challenge that perception of life if one has ever felt like that. And if that's not the main mindset, it's more or less, because 3 is a number of expansion. It's about you guys expanding beyond the limits that you've been living within up to this particular point. So the first card that we have for you guys is the 9 of Pentacles. And that's the well-deserved reward card and whatnot or whatever. So pretty much like a job well done. But how I'm seeing that within the energy you guys are under is, whether for good or for bad, um, it's like whatever is received is deserved because it's what one created. But it's more or less you guys learning the narrative behind that. So putting that within the bigger framework of the energy that we're under as a collective, like with the whole self-evaluation and whatnot, what this is really about is during this retrograde, you guys taking a step back and looking at what it is I've actually created. How are my thoughts creating what I'm seeing, right? Am I using the tools to my disposal as a creator? Like, am I creating my proverbial heaven on earth, or am I creating a hell on earth, right? And being reminded that you guys have the power to shift that, right? Now, challenges that we have is the Wheel of Fortune, and we also have the Seven of Cups. So it's more or less understanding the difference between hopes, wishes, and dreams, and how one can take a hope, wish, dream, or a vision for the future, right? Or coming into the realization that you have a plethora of things that could manifest that are open to you, and finding out how to ground that in a very tangible action way, right? And that again falls into those three tools that we have for creation, which are thought, word, and action. When you think something, everything that we see in the 3D realm begins as an idea, right? So it's something intangible that was manifested tangible. So it's understanding that, and also understanding the balance between as above, so below, in the sense of like mega creator, right? Oh, that's funny. Wait, I can make a joke. Because we're talking about like big G God, and y'all are gods and goddesses. So y'all are like little G's. So it's understanding how the little G reflects the big G. You know what I'm saying? G. I'm lame. Leave me alone. So anywho, so it's understanding your creation power, how you are a creator, and understanding how you co-create with the divine. But the challenge is going to be is finding the balance between those two things. And that's the stuff that we're going over in the extended. And man, I'm giving you a heads up. All of this stuff gets extra metaphysical. I'm just telling you now. And then another thing is, in a more practical sense, it's a level of receptivity, because I feel like, in a good example of this, if we use major arcanum, right? It's like a line graph that I'm seeing, and it's you guys jumping between two extremes, and those two extremes would be like the Empress and the Emperor, right? So, and not understanding how to exist in that middle road, but that's the mastery that's coming this month. But it's going to require a proverbial another major arcana that is an enmeshment of the Empress and the Emperor, if that makes sense illustratively. It's like walking the middle road between those two extremes, because I feel like a lot of frustration comes from the fact it's like, well, you know, I've tried to be kind and think positive and be welcoming to people and help people and da-da-da-da and think and choose out of love and blah, 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 and people screwed me over. So now it's like I just don't have time for nobody, you know? It's like I don't trust people, da-da-da-da. So it's going from one extreme to the other, but it's understanding, and a clear depiction of this would be simply healthy boundaries, right? Not saying that the issue is boundaries, but just trying to give you guys something illustrative to understand what it is that I'm seeing. It's the fact that we can have no boundaries at all, or we have way too many, but having healthy boundaries is that homeostatic state between those two extremes of letting things in when necessary, and then, you know, being closed off when necessary, but not spending too much time within one or the other. Because I feel like the most difficult thing is being so fixated on something, and then like when the wheel changes, like when a season in life changes, it's scrambling, trying to readjust to the shifts, because it's fixating too much to where, is that adaptability? It's learning adaptability, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I pray that makes sense. So in essence, it's like balancing, it's like yin and yang, it's balancing masculine and feminine energies in so many words. So, and if we say it that way, the fact that we're talking about you guys are, I can't talk, you guys archetype being God and goddesses, It's self-mastery. It's mastering those two facets of yourself and using them to your advantage. And then we have the Hierophant, or the Teach card, in you guys' guidance position. So it's more or less, I look at this as either you guys stepping into a position of where you're going to be taking on a role of mentor, or this is like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear kind of energy. So again, kind of how it was for the alchemist, it's reaching out to someone who may be well versed in an area that you're not well versed in, and allowing this person to give you guidance in reference to what it is you guys are trying to master. But it's something to do with, and this is so weird, this comes up, because I legit, like, on you guys' notes, the spirit is telling me stuff. It was duty and responsibility to the collective is what I wrote, right? And I put number 5. Number 5, duty and responsibility to the collective. And I was like, okay, so I'm getting messages for my life path 5 people. So I just wrote it off to the side. But for this to come out in guidance, that's interesting. That's very interesting. It's more or less like a commitment to, and this is I'm not gonna say that it's gonna sound weird, but it's almost like, I feel what would help you guys a lot is a level of grounding. It's almost like grounding is going to help you guys in this process of what you're mastering this month. But, and give me a second, y'all, because I'm trying to find the words for this. I guess the best way that I would put it is like cultivating a spiritual practice. And I wrote something on that earlier. Dude, I love these readings. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Because I love how this is me just like gushing in the amazement of spirit. I'm sorry, y'all. This is so fascinating to me because this is the same thing that happened earlier with the Seer group. It was something, Spirit told me something earlier that day about the number 7, and then the number 7 kept coming up in their reading. It's here for y'all too. And then with the dice that I threw out, the number 7 came up. And what I ended up writing earlier that day, thinking it was random, and I don't believe in coincidences. So this is not a coincidence. I legit thought, let me just get to what it is that I wrote. Because it was something about, where is it at? It was like an epiphany I literally had. Because meditation has been coming up a lot for other people too. And, where is it, dagnabbit? Here it is. Okay. Prayer, meditation, and spiritual practices. Okay. Yoga prepares the body to submit for meditation, just as mindfulness meditation prepares the mind to submit for communion with the divine. Both the body and the mind are both proverbial locked doors to the inner temple of your heart. Therein lies what's behind the veil, the Holy of Holies, connection to the divine, and you have access at any time. That's so perfect. Can I just say, and it's 111 right now. I'm just saying. 3. You hear me? Okay, anyway. So no, dude, that hit me earlier today, and I was like, son. So let me tell it. That's literally the pathway within. If you ever want to know, like, what the heck does it mean to go within, right? Those are 2 tools that you can use to access your inner temple, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be yoga. I don't really know any other way you could do that other than meditation. I'm just saying. But, I don't know, exercise, I have no idea. But those are 2 things that I'm familiar with. But those are 2 ways to put your humanity that's the matter that's a part of like that black and white perception, right? How you can put those under submission to get into your heart space. So yoga trains the body, meditation trains the mind. When you can put your body under submission and your mind under submission at will from practice, because it's like a muscle, you can instantly enter your inner temple at any time. So the main two things that are blocks to your heaven within or your inner self or connection with the divine is your mind and your body, right? Not saying, because again, this has to be within balance, not saying you're supposed to neglect your mind or your body, but it's just saying that, like I said with the seers, is the simple fact that our mind and our body think that they run the show. They think that they are the head honcho. They are like literally the false deity in the whole setup, right? And is needing to understand that both are a byproduct of the truth of who you really are, which is on a soul essence. So I'm saying all of that to say, and I knew y'all's, I really hope and pray this makes sense, y'all, because it's very, very metaphysical, the themes that are coming up for you guys. So I hope that's making sense. But to kind of bring it back a little bit, when we're talking about the Hierophant card coming up in the position of you guys' guidance, for the month of July, what we're really talking about is cultivating a spiritual practice, because what I wrote down would be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is being able to easily access spirit at any given time and taking those practical steps in 3D to be able to access your inner world, in so many words. And the way that that's done is by posturing us through a religious practice, which is what the Hierophant would represent. And I feel in the bigger scheme of things is really what the purpose of all religion is, because I always say that religion is man's way to God, right? And spirituality is God's way to man. So it's like we're coming, like trying to fight towards each other on a consistent basis, because it's like we're reflecting each other in a sense. But I feel the way that you meet spirit halfway is by learning the principles or the framework or the rituals or the skills or what have you in order to access your inner world, in so many words. It took me a while to explain that, but I hope it makes sense, dagnabbit. So anywho, your advice, I really hope that makes sense, y'all. I'm praying it does. It makes sense in my head. Well, hot dadgummit. Look at that. We have the Empress card. We have, oh my God, we have the Emperor. Y'all, didn't I just use this as a freaking schematic? What is happening in America? And wow. And then we have the Star card. I cannot even right now. Man. All right. So here's the deal. If you guys are feeling discouraged in any way, shape, form, or fashion with anything, it doesn't matter. Because and it's odd, I feel this with this. It almost feels to me like a loss of hope. Now, mind you, the card that's about hope is in your advice position. But it's like, suddenly it's like I just feel, it's almost like a person who, okay, and I think this is kind of like what I was talking about in the beginning. It's almost like a person, exactly. Dude, this is creepy. All right. This is exactly what I said in the beginning. It's a person who is acting in this energy. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm being super duper positive, love and light, blah, 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 blah. Right? And now it's like I'm taking matters into my own hands because the shit didn't work. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I feel like you guys are kind of on the cusp. And I feel like the influencing energy is this. It's the simple fact of like feeling like, dude, I deserve this. I deserve this promotion. I deserve, this job, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I deserve this, and it's feeling overlooked and passed up. And it's like, I'm tired of waiting on divine timing. I'm tired of visualizing it in my head. I'm tired of having faith. I'm tired of believing. And it's almost like a person who's on the cusp of giving up in the sense of cutting off from the divine, meaning stepping outside of flow and taking matters into your own hands, right? And that's why it's like you're guided to chill out, right? Either go speak to someone that can kind of get your mind back right, get you back in alignment, you know what I'm saying? Or this just being a reminder, because when I think about like loyalty, it's more or less a loyalty to your truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, not, and what is the word I'm trying to say here? It's not blasphemous. I can't think of what the word is, but it's almost like completely denying your truth. Is it like sacrilegious? But I mean it like in an illustrative sense. But it whatever the word is, what I'm saying is it's like it's denying your truth. What you know to be true, what you've built your life on, your morals, values, ethics, beliefs, whatever the foundation of your life is, it's almost forsaking. That's it. It's like forsaking your truth out of impatience because it's a loss of hope. But oh gosh, I love how this is coming together. But the thing that you're not seeing is there's a third facet of this dyad you've been living in between two extremes. And even though I think you've been considering this third facet of the dyad, saying I've tried everything, when in truth, you've only been operating out of two ways. And here's where this is going to get crazy. How we talked about love and fear, the assumption is I've already acted out of love, right? So now I'm standing in what the truth would be is fear, but the fear is manifesting as pseudo strength, right? But it's like the opposite of, and I'm looking at this, I really hope I'm making sense, y'all. I'm looking at this emperor energy as like the emperor reversed. So it's like tyrant, right? And the thought is that on the other side, it was the empress. So it's like unconditional love, love and light, da 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 da. But the thing that I'm seeing this is you actually were operating out of fear and never having tapped into the love facet, because what would be perceived as the empress energy was false piety. So that would be this false piety, right? And this is just illustrative. And this would be pseudo strength. But both of these are two different manifestations. So a feminine manifestation and a masculine manifestation of fear, right? Meaning lack. So I'm acting out of a place of not having, right? I'm acting out of a place of not beingness, but doingness, acquiring that which I'm not in possession of. And when you're acting out of a place of fear, which is why that's the message of it's saying how you're spending too much time looking at what's happening in 3D, but never taking into account the source energy that's creating it. If at any point in time, what was created was out of the highest frequency of love and wasn't tainted by fear, one would already have that which they seek. They would already be in possession of it. So not being in possession of it means that something is lacking here, right? Because it's kind of like you wouldn't bite the hand that feeds you, right? You wouldn't cut yourself off from the unlimited source that's giving you everything it is that you desire, right? So the key is here is seeing this was the illusion. So when we're talking about 7 of Cups, right? Like daydreams and decisions, the illusion that's going to be cut through this month is the fact that you were never choosing between love and fear. It was always fear, right? It was just two different illusionary manifestations of the same thing. But now Spirit is coming through to show you what the highest frequency, that of which would be love, and that's where I see showing up here. That's why, man, I'm so glad, thank you, Spirit, because I was struggling putting this all together and things. That's the reason why the Hierophant is coming up. Because the thing is, all of these illustrations, if we look at it like the Lover's card and they talk about it's a head or heart decision, right? That would literally be ego, period. It would be mental, intellectual desires versus fleshly desires, right? But the reason why Spirit is saying one needs to go within and giving you those tools on how to go within is because that's how you awaken to the truth, the new hope. That's how you guys are going to ascend to this higher vision, the director's chair of life, and be able to see a completely new perspective. One that's very revolutionary, by the way. So this is that middle road. That is what the star card is representing. And I'm so glad the Spirit put that together, y'all, because I was struggling to try to get that to make sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But it's like, it's through seeing this from this higher ascended view that is going to put these two contrasting elements into perspective, but interjecting like this divine higher perception or knowledge to this dyad concept, right? Of this or that, black or white, you know, male, female, light, dark, whatever. Being able to interject this divine truth into these two concepts is going to revolutionize it for you. And how I'm really seeing it is almost like the Trinity. I kid you not. And that takes us back to those three tools of creation: thought, word, and action. Knowing, experiencing, and being, right? Even if we look at it as Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? That's beautiful. And all of that is you guys understanding the true essence of your nature, that of which is expansion. And again, like I said, a lot of these readings attune to you guys' divine purposes because you guys will be teaching this to other people. You guys mastering this is going to be teaching other people how to access that inner part of themselves, how to ascend to a higher state of being, teaching people how to utilize their gift as creator, how to create the reality that they desire, how to manifest from that inner place of abundance. And then we have the Chariot. Move. Oh my gosh. One thing I love about the Chariot card, and I need to write that down because you guys, oh man, y'all gonna have buku readings to watch. Anytime major arcanas end up coming up, so the Sacred Rebel reading is probably going to be helpful for you guys. The Demi-god reading is probably going to be helpful for you guys. The Alchemist reading, the Shepherd reading. Yeah, a lot of these. Y'all might want to go and watch those because there may be additional information there to help you out. So it's the Alchemist, it's the Demi-god, and the Shepherd archetypes. So all of those may give you guys additional information as well. But the thing I love so much about the Chariot is it talks about manifesting inner balance, like gaining the balance within and manifesting without. And that's what gets us exactly where it is that we need to be. That's another way that personal responsibility and duty, like an adherence to one's truth and like one's own personal autonomy, how it is that that's manifested out into this realm and how that becomes a statement in our life, becomes a message, right? Like the greatest message to everyone that we end up encountering in our lifespan. And with this being in you guys' possibility and potential position, that's exactly what you guys are stepping into. And seeing these major arcanas, I feel like July is going to be a hella huge revolutionary month for you guys. Tauruses could be important, or you guys could be Tauruses. Cancers could be important, or you guys could be Cancers. Aries, and who else? And Libras. And I need to write all them signs down. Aries, Taurus, because I list all the signs that could also resonate with this too at the bottom. Aries, Taurus, Cancer, and Libra. And you, like I said, you guys could be those signs as well. But I feel what it is, by the end of this month, you guys are going to be getting exactly where it is that you aspire to go, but this is more or less like a heads up from spirit to not make the mistake in stepping out of alignment, because you guys trying to take matters into your own hands is actually going to shortchange you from what it is that spirit is trying to bring you into, because it's what you're desiring. Spirit is working, like co-creating with you to get there, but it's more or less spirit wants you to see, and this has been a theme for everyone so far, how it is that the decisions that we are making or how we're thinking about life, how that is preventing us from co-creating with spirit. So it's never been a question about spirit wanting to assist you with getting to where it is that you're going, but the issue has always been how we're perceiving it, how we're responding to our experience, and how we've been inadvertently self-sabotaging. So more or less, this whole reflective period, looking at your life, cultivating this spiritual practice, understanding the true meaning of going within, the whole purpose of this is to get you to where it is that you were trying to go. But I feel like in getting there, it's going to be a lot more bigger, greater, and it may even be quicker, like accelerated motion forward. It's going to be greater than how it is you guys are perceiving it, you know? And I know that's something my granny used to say, like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, you know? And it's even making me think about, and if y'all are familiar with the story, if y'all know the story of Abraham and Sarah, and you know how, like, God tells Abraham and Sarah when they're like 100 and something that they're going to have babies, and Sarah was like, this whole thing, right? And then they go and she has like her midwife to have a baby, and then she ultimately ends up having a baby anyway. But the whole reason why she had Abraham to have the baby with the other, like with the, I don't want to call her a concubine, handmaiden or whatever it is, was because it was a lack of faith and trust in what God said, and thinking that she needed to help God do God's job, in a sense. And that's the same kind of vibe that I'm getting here. It's like, you know, author of the universe, let me help you do your job, because clearly you ain't doing your job right. You know what I'm saying? So let me go move a couple of chess pieces here and there. You know what I'm saying? But it's just showing a lack of faith and trust. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because there's already a solution for it. But it's just being receptive to it, right? And trusting in the process. Because the desire wouldn't be in your heart. Like, if it wasn't meant for you to have, the desire wouldn't exist. If the desire exists, it's because it's meant for you to have. That's what I'm saying. So I hope that makes sense. I pray that makes sense, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and throw the dice of resonance. If you want to ask a yes or no question, go ahead and formulate that now. Pause me if you need to. I hope that makes sense, y'all. I feel like I've just been saying a whole bunch of words out of my mouth. Okay, the dice fell really weird. Two of them fell on top of each other. That's interesting. So we have Virgo. We have Capricorn. Write those down too. Virgo just been popping up in everybody reading. But like I said, the funny thing is with these, it's like it's no telling. Y'all could actually be Virgos. We have the X. The answer to your question is yes, in a few weeks. And it could be, well, Virgo or Capricorn could be in any one of their sun, moon, or rising signs. So a great deal of you might actually be earth signs. So Virgo, Capricorn, yes, in a few weeks. The X and question mark. Now we're going to go ahead and throw these good old, I don't know what to name these. I'm asking you guys what we should name the new dice. Maybe we should name them the Trinity. I don't know. I'm just piggybacking off of y'all. It's a whole bunch of threes going on. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to throw these out. Whatever ideas you guys have of names, comment it below. Let me know. Because another one of my subbies named the Dice of Resonance. I think I called those the Zodi die before this. I'm horrible with naming stuff. So y'all think of a name, comment it below. And then we'll like all vote on it. Whoa, okay. Oh, wow, you're kidding. The number 7 came up again. Then we have Gemini and is that Jupiter? This came up for the Seers. So yes. And another thing with the number 7, I had to add that to the Seers reading. You guys, would definitely want to watch the Sacred Rebel reading for sure. And is that? Yes, that is Jupiter and Gemini. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing double work. I'm going to read to you guys what I got earlier about the number 7. What I wrote down earlier, the number 7 is all about that strong hidden power we have within ourselves. So in other words, this is a reassurance that literally everything that it is that you need to get where you're going, it already exists within you. What you guys are experiencing this month is an attempt to unlock or to break that power that's within and manifesting it without, right? And the other things that we have for number 7 is imagination, dreams, and openness to hidden realities. What's behind the veil? And that's what I feel like you guys are going to be learning this month, which is so awesome. And a good meditation point is also the Chariot card. And let's see, with Jupiter, it says, achieve abundance via personal growth and ethical living, feel and express gratitude, give generously, and work on self-improvement. So in so many words, it's a lot of what we were talking about, achieving balance within, manifesting it without, not detaching from or cultivating, learning what your values are, the foundations upon which you build your life. And of course, focusing on your own personal growth, healing, and ascension. And a Gemini could be of some relevance to you and your path, my friend. Or you could be a Gemini. You know what I'm saying? Or have it in your chart somewhere. So anyway, that's been you guys reading. I'm going over to the Healing Lounge to finish this. So we're going to continue to clarify these cards a little bit further to get some more specifics. And then I'm going to go into the practical application of a lot of these elements that came up in the reading. But be sure to watch those other paths that I talked about. And I think that I've said everything. I think y'all got me kind of scatterbrained. I love your freaking faces. But if you're not following me over there, I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later.